Hi everyone. It's been a little while, but there had been a video that I wanted to do for quite some time, which is the truth about lung transplants. Um, in the past 8 months since my lung transplant, I've learned quite a bit. I've gotten accustomed to my routine, and I thought that I would share some of the um, ins and outs of the whole thing. So here we go. I guess we would start with in the beginning. It was extremely hard. And when I say in the beginning, I mean right after surgery and the time spent in the hospital. I think it was only as hard as it was because of COVID. And the fact that I received my transplant on December 15th, which kept me in the hospital till January 5th, which was over Christmas. So I spent Christmas totally alone because of COVID. And not being able to have any visitors in the hospital made it super difficult to be there for that length of time by yourself. Also, I had a trach for much of the time that I was in. I think the trach was only out for maybe the last 2 to 3 days of me being in the hospital. So the whole entire time I was there, I couldn't talk, which made it so that you couldn't even really FaceTime or anything with anybody. I mean, I could see visitors through FaceTime, but I couldn't communicate with them. And in fact, all of my communication in the hospital too had to be on a whiteboard or trying to get people to understand what it was that I wanted. So that was extremely difficult. And I am the type of person that really wants to know what's going on. So every time they were giving me medication or putting stuff into IVs, I wanted to know what it was. And without being able to speak, it makes that whole process a lot more difficult. I think I handled the situation extremely well. I still am very proud of myself and how well I kept everything together during that whole time and stayed calm from the situation. And just, looking back, I don't think there's anything that I wish I would have done differently. So that's nice. The other thing that was super hard for me, and I wouldn't have guessed that this would have been one of the things, but it did kind of come as a surprise to me, was that you can't eat anything afterwards. So for that time that I was in the hospital, I couldn't have ice chips, water, anything. So I didn't think I would miss food, but I did. They don't want you to aspirate into your lungs, so they make sure that you have absolutely nothing the entire time that you're there. While you're healing and stuff. And then the last couple days, as you're getting ready, they start you on just a few really super thin foods. And then they ask that when you leave, you start slowly building up to more stuff. So I felt like I was literally starving in there. And a lot of the time, I didn't even have the energy to reach over to the side table to get something. So that was, and then they were constantly pushing you to do more and more, but you have no fuel. And the sleeplessness was incredible. For some reason, it took me probably 2 full months after the transplant to be able to sleep. And that was a source of a lot of frustration. I'm not sure why it is, and I don't know if it's none of this stuff. Let me say none of this stuff. I can't say that any of it pertains to everyone that has the transplant. Everyone is different, and every transplant center handles things differently. So I can't say that everybody would go through my exact experience, but this was my experience. So once I got past that, the 2 months of no sleep, and you wouldn't believe how much your body needs sleep, but once I got past that, then things really started to improve in a big way. Definitely from the beginning, after getting out of the hospital, after getting the trach out, the breathing really changed significantly. And once I got my strength back, it was amazing, just the difference in everything I could do. The other thing that you had to learn a lot about was medications. So I take a lot of medications. Before the transplant, I used to be on one PAH medication and then also Lasix. So I took basically 2 pills a day. And now I take, I think it's somewhere around 20 something pills a day. So this would be morning, evening, and night. And some of them are very time specific. In fact, there's a couple right now that my alarm had just interrupted me for that I need to go ahead and take. And those time sensitive pills are the tacrolimus, and they recently added everolimus. Those are anti-rejection meds, and they are trough level drugs, and they need to be taken exactly 12 hours apart. And when I get blood work done, I have to go in at an exact time to catch it at a certain, like at the 12th hour right before I'm about to take my new dose, so that they can check the levels, because they try to keep it at a certain level throughout the 24-hour period. So I just took those ones, and the rest of my morning pills I take with breakfast. So the everolimus, the tacrolimus, and there was also a heart rate pill in there for me as well. I've always had a fast heart rate, and they like to just slow it down a bit, so they have me on that one as well. And I put that one in with the timed one because I can tell that when I don't take it, like if I take it and it fluctuates, then I might have like a high heart rate by the time I check again. So with all of the pills, I put them in little cases like this, and I ended up buying 6 of these cases. They're not all the same, but they basically same purpose. And I load my pills up for like 6 weeks at a time, and that way I don't have to mess with them at all. So let me see about my list. So just basically what I do is I have a list of all my meds, and they include Tums, which is pretty simple, straightforward. They like you to take the Tums because it has calcium in it, and calcium helps you to absorb vitamin D, which is another one that I take. So some of them are just supplements. So there's the Tums, the vitamin D, there's fluticordazone, and that prevents my potassium levels from getting too high. There is magnesium, which is just another supplement that's pretty much self-explanatory. The metropropyl, which is the one that I just took for the heart rate. I take a multivitamin, mycophenolate, which is for rejection. Pantoprazole is for heartburn. Sometimes after transplant, people have problems with heartburn, in the area that they cut out, to replace. And so they just like to make sure that no acid reflux or anything happens in that area so that it can heal properly. Posaconazole. That was one I was on. They were able to stop it now, but they added in everolimus. So the posaconazole I don't take anymore. Let's see. Bactrim is for infection prevention. The tacrolimus, which I just told you about. Valganciclovir is also for prevention of infection. And let's see. Prednisone, I am down to 5 milligrams a day, one time a day. So that's good because I was on a lot, and they keep dropping it down. And they say that I may be able to even stop it soon. Iron pills, which is another supplement. Rovastatin, which some of the drugs make your cholesterol go up. So I am on just 5 milligrams of rovastatin a day, and amiloride. Amiloride is like a very mild version of Lasix. It's extremely mild. You don't even realize you're taking it. But it just helps because some of the pills like tacrolimus and everolimus cause you to retain some water. So it's a very gentle way of just getting it out. And yeah, so that pretty much sums it up for all the pills that I take. And then I also have this little packet here, which has my blood pressure and thermometer, and I keep track of my weight, and I do that. Okay, sorry about that. I had a phone call that came in, so I had to take it. As far as these that I was talking about, I do my blood pressure, temperature, weight every day, so that we know if anything changes, we start to see it right away. The earlier that we notice a change, like if something's going wrong, the earlier we notice the change, the better chance of being able to fix it. So like today, for example, my blood pressure was 107/71. My pulse was 98. My temperature was 97.4. And my weight was 109.2, which is amazing because I used to weigh 87 pounds. And I've gained like 25 pounds since the surgery. If you would have asked me before, could I have ever gained 25 pounds, I would have said never, not in a million years, because I have been wearing the same size pants since I was in high school. I did have to go pants shopping because of this whole thing. So the weight thing has been a huge difference. The other thing that I have to do on a daily basis is check my FEV1, which now runs at about 1.78, which is considered normal. I guess it could be a little bit higher, but they're ecstatic with where it is now, and so am I. I live life perfectly normally, so there's no issues there. Every time I go back, it improves more and more. Remember, I started at 0.29 with my FEV1. And then right after transplant, I was at 1.29, and then it moved up a little bit. So every time I go back in for pulmonary function test, it moves up. And same with my 6-minute walk, it keeps going up. Now I don't know how much farther it can go because my legs just can't go any faster, even though my lungs are not struggling. So and they don't allow you to run, so that's not an option. But so this is the daily stuff that goes with the transplant, is all of this regular stuff. But in comparison to all of the regular stuff that I used to have to do with oxygen and everything, the Tradeoff is totally worth it. They say you're trading one disease for another, and that's true because you're still taking care of stuff, but in no way are they equal. So it's a no-brainer for me, like to travel around with a box of pills and a blood pressure thing, which is what I have to take with me on trips and stuff, is no comparison to carrying the oxygen concentrator, an in-room concentrator, all the batteries and cordage, and the sleep machine, which I don't use anymore. I don't have any of that stuff anymore. So going places, I can run out the door, I'm not connected. You know, it's like if I want to do something on 2 minutes notice, it's just put your shoes on and go. It's no more getting tanks ready and do I have all my batteries and cannulas, and you had to have extra of everything in case anything went wrong. So yeah, there is absolutely no comparison. The other thing that I had never even considered with all of this is storing all of these medications. It takes an incredible amount of space to store them all. Like when I came home from the hospital with my medications, it was literally a grocery bag, like a paper grocery bag, full to the top of all the meds. So I had to figure out storage and obviously some organization for them. And that was a little bit challenging. So let me show you what I did to my closet to keep everything straight. So what I did, I have my closet here, and basically what I did was put up shelves and got all these little bins to hold all the stuff. Now, some of the stuff I don't even use anymore. Like this was all amphotericin, which is a nebulizer, and I only used that for the first 6 months of my transplant. So some of this stuff I can probably get rid of, but I'm gonna keep it till the date expires, just in case for some reason I have to be put back on it. This is syringes from my feeding tube, which I no longer have. That was removed, so I can probably clear out that bin as well. Those look like some masks from my CPAP at night, or it could possibly even be my husband's actually. So then I have, here's the bins with the trays. These are pills that are already made up and ready. These are missing a couple, so they have notes on them about what needs to be added. These are empty and used up ones. These are new pills that have not been opened yet. This is my pill bag that I'm working out of now. This is just random supplies. This has my FEV1 checker and blood sugar and different things, alcohol swabs and stuff like that in there. This one holds the blood pressure checker, the thermometer, and stuff like that. These are my lab kits, so every week I go in and get labs done. So yeah, there you go, guys. That pretty much sums it up for the truth about transplants. And I definitely give Transplant a thumbs up. All right, on to the rest of my day, which begins with making my bed.